What an intro!
What? You've heard the intro before, have you not?
I just love it. I dance to it every time.
So do I, to be fair.
Me and Aaron
Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Going Concern. I can't believe they actually allowed us to keep the pilot up and running. So we've been invited. Well, it was our show, but we've come and done a second show for you all. The pilot wasn't taken down and we were able to carry on. So the Going Concern, a fortnightly talk show podcast where we answer your questions. Every 2 weeks, we hang around these microphones and we talk about all the wonderful questions or issues, which include the weird, the wacky, the wonderful, and the downright outrageous. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Patrick, a chartered accountant and owner of a accounting firm called Boffix, a QuickBooks certified trainer UK with a fancy new logo, and that QuickBooks chap on YouTube. And as always, I'm joined with my co-host, the one and only Rachel. How's it going, Rachel?
Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel. I am a TEDx speaker. I'm an author. I'm a business owner. But most importantly, for today, I am an accountant. I am the founder of ACCOUNTANCY and director of Strivex Accountants, which is a wonderful, if I say so myself, female-led accountancy practice. So we've got a cracker in store for you today. But first of all, we're just going to run through exactly how it works, how you can get your questions to us, and what it's all about. So if you are listening back, our usual time to go live is 12:30 p.m. UK time. So we're trying to catch people on their lunch break. So if you're listening to it back at a later time, you can join us live where we can answer your questions in real time, which is way more exciting. If you subscribe to our platforms, you can also get involved with the show and ask us your questions in the chat box. So this show really is for you guys, for maybe young budding accountants, accountants with their own practice, or business owners, and it's access all areas. So you can ask us anything. We are now live on the podcasting services all around the globe. So feel free to subscribe on your podcasting service of choice. So we have got some absolute crackers in store for you today. You guys, round 2 did not disappoint. I'd say it's almost better than the pilot. So let's open the mailbag. Aaron, are you ready for the first question?
I was born ready. I am ready and waiting. Go on, Rachel. Let's get this first question out there.
Okay, so we've been asked. I am currently a trainee accountant looking to develop my skill set further as I progress through my AAT qualifications. My question is, when you were both training to be accountants, what extracurricular activities did you find helpful to get you both where you are today?
What a question. And you know what I love about this question more than anything is really, like, a lot of people need to kind of take heed of this question and think about what our responses are here, because, you know, getting your qualification is definitely important and it should be your main focus. But being an all-round accountant and being able to progress and wanting to get that little bit step further and be ahead of your peers and everything else is all going to be about what else you bring to the table, because the qualification becomes great, you've got a qualification, that's wonderful. But actually the real substance of how far you're going to go and where your career is going to take you and everything else is going to be everything else you bring to the table. Yeah. So I absolutely love this question, because it's about thinking about outside the box, isn't it? It's about thinking about, you know, what else can you do? So for me, like, I loved problem solving. I love Excel and I love all that sort of thing. So I really went into Excel properly in terms of making sure I understood how to do VLOOKUPs and how to do all those sort of things. And then suddenly I became the Excel guy in my practice, and it was, you know, it gave me a leg up and everything else. But also I think business awareness is so huge as well. And one of the things I've challenged my trainees to do, and as they're going through their ranks and everything else, is I've challenged them to have a go at having their own little small business. You know, it doesn't have to take over their lives. It doesn't have to, you know, be everything for them, but just an eBay store or something, or an Etsy store or something small like that. They just get so much awareness of what to expect and when problems occur, and they can have those conversations with clients. So, you know, Rachel, what sort of things would you push for, and what would you want to do, and what did you do in yours? Because you didn't do the typical kind of AAT, ACA route, did you? You've kind of gone a different.
Yeah, so I think in terms of extracurricular, like while you're doing AAT, and if it really is about like letting other people within the firm know what your intentions are, I think so often people forget to state the obvious. So if you're looking at what extracurricular activities you could do to make your intentions known that you'd like to progress, I'd say number one is tell people you would really like to progress. Like your managers aren't psychic, and if your intention really long term is like, I want to be a partner in the firm and like my career plan, I need to make you aware of it so that like if opportunities come up, you can go for them. So first thing is state the obvious. It isn't as obvious as you think. Secondly, yeah, absolutely. Excel is an amazing all-round life skill, not just for accountants. Aaron and I aren't sponsored by Microsoft, but we both love Excel, and it just from start to finish will make you a better accountant and give you another life skill. So 100% really get stuck into Excel if you haven't already. One thing would be to really get involved in networking. So I did my AAT qualification at a top 75, so it's quite a big firm. There was 100 members of staff and lots of different departments. So some extracurricular activities could be something as simple as if people play golf every Tuesday, ask if you can go. Like I literally played golf. There was a cricket team, there was a five-side football team. I still don't know how to play cricket, but I went. Like it just is great networking, and it does mean that if you stated your intentions, you're networking with the managers anyway, and you're doing all of this extra stuff. If something comes up and if an opportunity comes up, you'll be the first person on everybody's lips, and they'll all be talking about you. And like having advocates within a firm, within a business, and within a network can change your life. I like having advocates and people that you know when you're not in the room. They'll make sure that you are talked about in a positive light, and they're really sort of cheerleaders for you is very important. And like networking is a really good way to make sure that happens. And it can, like, even in my career, I see a direct correlation between networking and progression.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, because for me, like my personal story of how I got to where I was today was I was known as the QuickBooks guy and the software guy and the geeky guy, and whatever phrase you want to do. But the reason that I'm known as the QuickBooks chap now is because I got that opportunity at the top, same as you, top 75 firm, to go and really dive deep into them and go to the cons and go to the extra elements they've got, so I could really understand the product and understand it. And if it wasn't for those opportunities, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And the only reason I got those opportunities is exactly what you just said. It's that network, and it's, you're in a peer of however many people in those sort of situations, and you need to be able to stand out and be the one that's going to get first thought of when certain things come along. And the only reason that they knew who I was and even knew my name was because I pushed myself, got myself out there. So you're absolutely spot on. Like networking is going to be so important, and it gives you that identity, and you're not just that number. And that can be the problem sometimes in those bigger accounting firms of standing out. So yeah, I think that's.
I'd say like this as well, like for Aaron and for Aaron and I, like this and the going concern, really, we wanted to create a platform that was like extracurricular, like platforms for young or like progressing accountants to be a part of. Like I was just telling Aaron before we came live, we had someone come and do work experience with us this week who I have met through the YouTube channel. And like this as it in itself is an extracurricular activity that we really want to create a platform and an open space and a community for young accountants to be able to ask these questions and really feel encouraged and to network and to really feel like they have a close relationship with us as well. Because it's definitely my motivation. I know it is Aaron's as well, is we wanted to create the platform, the content and the resources that weren't available when we were in this place. It was just, I had to go to cricket. I'd much rather be watching this on YouTube. So like that is a big motivation for both of us, is to really create what we needed when we were training. And this is a really big part of that. So hopefully that's answered your question. And Aaron, what's the next question?
Oh, I love this question. It's a simple one and it's straightforward, but I want to hear your answer. So what is the best bit about your job? So we've only got an hour of this one. So
we literally could talk about it all day, literally all day. Okay, if I had to pick one, is it one? Am I only allowed to pick one?
Well, they didn't elaborate on one. It just said the best bit. So, if you've got a top 5, let's keep it at that, a maximum.
I'd say from like actually delivering accountancy services, I think so often accountancy is overlooked at what a difference it can make to somebody. So to be able to take clients from an idea all the way through to maybe landing seed investment with an angel is incredible. I think taking people from a side hustle to something that's able to leverage them getting a mortgage for the first time is incredible. And I think so often it is overlooked what a personal and like really impactful relationship the accountant and client is. So the first one is we are able to make a difference, and that was always very important to me. And the second is creating connections and being able to introduce people. So recently, someone reached out to me on Instagram asking if they could come and do work experience with me, but they actually live up north near Arran. And I said, like, I'm really sorry, I can't help you, but like, actually, I know someone who can. And I think it's free, it's easy, and it's kind for me to do that, and it doesn't cost me anything. But like, that could be the connection that gives someone work experience, that gives them a job, that changes their life. And making those introductions and those connections is incredible for me, and it's something that I really really enjoy, that like building a sense of community, and people never forget that you were the person that introduced them, and it's free. Like at every single onboarding call, whenever I speak to a prospective client, I say to them, apart from accountancy and finance, what can I do to help you? Like we've got nearly 300 clients, ranging from so many different things. Like, can I introduce you to somebody? Do you want to go on a podcast? Do you need help with your website? Do you want someone to run over your contracts and you need to speak to a solicitor? Like, do you have lasting powers of attorney with it built within your business so you know what happens if something happened to you? Like, there's so many different things, and like building that network and growing it, it grows our business too. You know, like people buy into that and they feel like family and they feel very close to you. Sorry, that wasn't quite an hour, but it was pretty close. What about you, Aaron? What's the best bit about your job?
Well, just following on from that though, I think, you know, it is a network. Yeah, you're right, but I think it's a community, isn't it? I think that's what you're building. Like, you're building this little community of like-minded individuals, people who are wanting to help each other out. And if you ask that question bluntly, like you do, and you have that, you're weeding out the people who might not want to help out and might not, might be a bit more. And I think that's a good thing, because they're the sort of clients that you want, and they're the sort of ones that are going to help build it for you.
And it's so obvious. It feels so obvious, right? Like me saying to a prospective client, what can I do to help you? Let's say they're a brand new business and they need to build a website. I have a client who's a web developer. So that client's happy that I've referred work to them. This client is happy because I've actually asked them, what can I do to help you? Because I think so often other business owners don't ask each other, can I help you? Like, do you need anything? Can I leave you a review? Do you want me to record a little video and tell you about my experience with you? Like, so often people don't do the stuff that's really obvious, and then that's what sets us apart, is because we're doing the obvious stuff. Like, I'm referring work to one client, I'm helping another client, and then they're so built into me because I introduced them, they then become my client. Like,
exactly.
But everyone else is missing the point.
and also, you're doing it without a hidden agenda. You're building up trust on both ends. It's just like you said. Why more people aren't doing it, I don't know. But it is one of those things, isn't it, where you're building that rapport with clients. You're giving them those opportunities, and they're going to flourish because of it. And they're improving, you're improving, and it's just a community of passing around. So back to the question of my best bits. I completely agree with you in terms of helping others and feeling valued. And we'll harp on to this for the rest of our lives, I think. But this whole pandemic has just shown how, accountants are a required source for small businesses. And, our aim is to go out there and make sure that we're not prohibited to any small business. Small businesses should get that support, and that should be minimum of what they have. And the pandemic's shown that, is the fact that they need that support. And there's been so many heartfelt messages that we've had and conversations I've had with clients over this last year or 2 years, and it's been so humbling to kind of learn and understand those bits that maybe before they've just not needed to tell us, or we've not needed to go down in that route. But you really do get that chance to talk to them, and it's such a fulfilling part of the job to then turn it around and help them and move them back from despair to something that's flourishing again. and that's exactly why we do it. But I think my other bit as well is, prior to being an accountant, I wanted to be a teacher, and teaching just never fell in my lap. It was never the right career choice for me. But as an accountant, you are a teacher. You're teaching every day. You're training every day. You're getting that opportunity, that itch, and you're going out there and trying to improve people's perspective on business and perspective on everything, because that's what the accountant's role is. It's to teach and improve and push them forward, and a bit of compliance there as well. So, you know, my worst bit of the job's compliance, but my best bit's everything else. So great from there.
The boring bit.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So I believe it's me for the next question again.
Yes.
So, Rachel, let's start again. Which version I should do of auditing and reporting, like UK or international? I'm doing professional exams of ACCA. Rachel, what's your first part from this one?
So within ACCA, you actually have a couple of optional modules. So this person is asking, should I do the UK audit and reporting exam or the international? And my answer to that, I'm gonna accountant on you, is say it depends. And my answer to that, whenever you're given the opportunity to decide which module you'd like to take, is which module can you leverage to gain the most in your career, or personally or professionally. So if you're not going to work internationally, definitely choose UK audit. However, if you'd like to become an international auditor, now's your chance. Here you go. Consider this a trampoline. Up you go. And you should definitely sit the international audit exam. And I think this opens the floor up to a different conversation about elective modules and how you leverage them. Sometimes I remember when I was doing AAT and there was some elective modules, I just kind of thought I'll do one that I'm interested in and one that I think is easy to pass. So I think I did credit control and then I did personal tax. And I think it gives you such an opportunity. And before we came live today, I was telling Aaron about, I'm currently doing an executive MBA, so a master's in business. And I was able to pick the modules that I could really leverage to grow the business in a better way. And I just sat one of those modules and it was incredible. So it's use it as an opportunity, you know, like you given electives for a reason, and this is the juicy bit. You get to choose what content you're taking in. What about you, Aaron?
I definitely agree with what you said there. And I think also the depends bit really, it gives you that opportunity to think about also how to be kind to yourself, because, you know, the international one will open up some really good avenues for you if you're interested in that route. And it's that where that depends comes from, isn't it? If you're interested in auditing's what you want to do and you want to go far in it, then yes, the international one is a great part to put on your CV. It's a great point to have. It's a great way of distinguishing yourself. But after all that, if you're looking really to be more into accounts or tax or any of the other modules, and that's what your passion is, then be easy on yourself. And I'm not saying it's the easy route, because it's still going to be difficult, but it's a lot easier to go down the UK route and not to take that extra burden on. So that's honestly, every person's different. And when we go through with our staff members and we're talking about options and we're talking about everything else, it's not just what their end goal is, but it's where they are in this point in time. You know, are they in a position where they can take on that extra burden, or are they in a position where they're better off going with the route that's going to be the most straightforward for them, and they're not going to have the most drama and everything else that goes with it? But, you know, right to ask the question. Personally, auditing's never been my forte anyway, so personally I would be looking to try and keep it as simple as possible, but everybody's different. So, you know, if auditing's your jam, then go for it.
What a great segue into the next question, which we're spilling some tea today, ladies and gents. Someone's asked, is it true that accountants don't like auditors? Aaron, the floor is yours.
Well, now, have I got a story to tell about an auditor or two?
Please
now,
remember, you're live on Big Brother, do not swear.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, as accountants, we should be working hand in hand with our auditors and helping fellow auditors, because at the end of the day, we're all gone through the same profession. We all should be rating the same set of accounts, and we should all be governed by the same rules and everything else. But unfortunately, yes, there is a bit of a divide between accountants and auditors. But I think actually the biggest divide ever is auditors and business owners. So, you know, we're that in between. Sometimes we're the ones who have to try and weather the storm, try and fight for both sides, try and find that middle ground. You know, I'm trying to think of the analogy, but which country it is, but there's that country that's always the middle ground. Is it Switzerland? Yeah, maybe whichever one it is. Yeah. So we have to keep both sides of the equation, and we have to try and be neutral. But it is difficult. And you've got to remember, like, again, I'm not the biggest auditor fan in the world, but their job is to find mistakes and find errors and find issues and find problems and rip your work apart. That's their whole
the fun police.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on, Rachel. Spot on. So if their job is to find all these issues and problems and errors and everything else that you've got with them, then you've just got to accept that they'll find something, because that's what they're going to be looking for. So, you know, fine, let them do their job, work with them as best you can, and move on. Rachel, what's your opinion on them? Just change the thing slightly. How much auditing have you done so far? Is it something you enjoyed or not enjoyed, or?
Yes, I did audit exams and I did some work experience in the audit department. And like I'm an ISTJ personality type. Like, I love rules. German was my favorite language to study. Like, I love rules and I love it. But I think there is part of it that sometimes isn't a nice job, which is it is your job to literally airdrop into a business and find mistakes. And like, that's Aaron and I think both gravitated towards accountancy because there's such an opportunity to help. And quite often people don't choose to have audits. They're normally like compulsory. They have to as a business. So like, no one has chosen to have the service. No one wants the service. And you go in and tell people what they're doing wrong. So like, it's not rewarding. But like, if your personality type is very data driven and actually you really like finding mistakes because it is really satisfying, then you would be very well suited to it. James's ex-girlfriend's an auditor, so like it's a no from me. But like
moving on.
So what's the next question, Aaron?
Oh, just on that one though, how much experience have you had in auditor kind of giving you issues before? Have you got anything that would cause any concern for you?
So before I started the business, I actually I spent some time in industry, and we were audited. We elected to have an audit, which was really, really good. I think if you are a financial manager within a firm and you're being audited, it's a really good opportunity to understand, like, as an accountant, do I have a blind spot? Like, I can come into a business and implement lots of processes, but like we do all become blind to things. And for me, it was a really great opportunity to understand, like, were there gaps in the process? The answer was no, which was great. But like, it's a really good opportunity to leverage it. So I would say, like, even if you haven't chosen to have an audit, all of these things are opportunities, and like, take it as one. Take it as a chance, either as a business owner or as an employee in a firm, to really improve yourself, improve the processes, and improve the accuracy of the work that you're doing.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And one thing I don't want people to go away with is that we're saying that don't become an auditor, but just.
So I mean, like, if you love problem solving, you love finding errors and mistakes, which a lot of people really do, and they find that very rewarding. It would be an amazing job for you. Mine, I know yours is more about like connection and building long-term relationships, which auditors don't get. Also, if you like travel, so lots of audit is on site. So when we worked at the Top 75, there was an audit department. You got to go to all sorts of different countries to do like stock checks and things like that. If you like traveling and you like going out and meeting new people for shorter periods of time, as opposed to building long-standing relationships with one person, they're a really good opportunity to go out, see the world, see loads of different businesses from the inside. It's absolutely fantastic opportunity. So all jokes aside, like, there is a bit of segregation within the industry between accountants and auditors, but only because the roles are so different. And normally it's quite a personal reason that you've chosen either one or the other. So jokes aside, like, audit can be an incredibly rewarding job. And I would encourage you that if you do really like problem solving, you like getting out and meeting people, you do like a bit of travel, like it would be a really, really great thing for you to chat to people about and do some research.
Yeah, and great opportunity in there, because as we said, like, not everyone enjoys being an auditor. So if you are one of those who enjoy it, then you're going to have that opportunity to go quite far in it, because it's difficult to find people with passion for audit, isn't it? So if you do have that passion, you're going to go a long way. All right, Rachel, next question coming your way. Very straightforward. How do Rachel and Aaron know each other?
Is it a straightforward question?
I need to understand this one, so let me just take notes.
Basically, I wanted Aaron to be my friend, and I followed him around for a while, and now he doesn't ask me to go away anymore. Me and Aaron are internet friends. We've actually not met in real life. We have plans to really soon, a couple of days after the next show. But we're internet friends. And Aaron and I both collaborated with QuickBooks. We were both on the Ask the Expert series, which is incredible. And we connected through there. And then since then, it's been, I'd say, a solid 6 months of collaboration, networking, friendship. Like, we've become really, really good friends. And I think it's something so undervalued in any industry, is creating relationships and really good, solid friendship relationships with other business owners who do exactly the same thing as you. And like, we're not in competition with each other. Like, there's more than enough accountancy services requirement to go around. Like, in no way are we taking clients off each other, or like, there's more than enough to go around. And we both very mutually, I feel like I take more than I give in this relationship. Aaron is an incredible source of like information, advice, all of the things. And like, something that's really great is, when we first connected, I was on Instagram and Aaron was on YouTube. And since then, we've both really encouraged each other to move over and build a community on the other platform. So now I have a YouTube channel and an Instagram account, and Aaron has an Instagram account and a YouTube channel. And like, that's been something so wonderful. And to be able to help each other and watch each other grow, and like, give them the tips that you didn't have anyone to tell you, and really be able to see it come into fruition, and then like, really solidify the community that we're both building together, is now amazing. Is that your version of events as well?
I feel really bad now, because mine was keep your friends close, your enemies closer. No, I'm joking. No, it is exactly right. In fact, I think it was me actually who reached out to you, because Aaron, it was a mutual friend of ours. A mutual friend of ours, Ebba, was saying that I should get in touch because of X. I can't remember what the reason was. Yes, but I reached out. I think it was to invite you on the podcast, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I think it was.
And it just went from there. Yeah, and you're right, because it's very, very being a practice manager and going down that route can be very isolating sometimes. And you try and keep yourself around with other practice managers as much as you can. But especially in our local area, they're all going in very different directions. So as much as I can talk to them and I can try and bounce ideas off them, and as much as I'm, looking to expand my connections with other practice managers, etc., it is difficult to find people with the same kind of common goal. And that's exactly where, for me, James and Rachel have that common goal. And I think it's, can't wait to start talking about the nerdy stuff and how we get.
I think that's another point to mention, is that like, even like on a personal level, we're at a very similar position in life. Yes. Like, we're both engaged to other accountants. Like, it's actually really, really lovely. And I think it's important to say, like, there's so many other practice managers out there, and I'm sure those have a very similar relationships to us. And it's about finding your people. And even from life, like, there's lots and lots of really lovely similarities between like where you guys are at in life and where we are. The fact that we're all 4 accountants is great and really nerdy. So that's how we met. We are internet friends, which I think is becoming so much more common. Like, we have someone staying with us now who we've met during the pandemic, has become a client, now a friend, and like, she has come to work with us for a week in an office with real people, because lockdown's crazy,
Lockdown's like that, isn't it? But I think the thing about both of us, though, we're very we put onto the internet a lot of our personality, haven't we? So it's like, you almost, and this is where the internet is working really in favor for a lot of people at the moment, because lockdown means that we can't have that personal touch anymore. We can't meet people and go for a coffee or whatever. We can start to now, but especially back in the thing of it. But so building relationships of any time, so clients or new employees or whatever it's going to be, but actually having YouTube, having Instagram, having those social outlets means that people can kind of already know what to expect, sort of thing. And I think that's really
100%.
really
Yeah,
powerful,
like
isn't it?
you go into like prospective client calls and they feel like they already know you, or like,
Yeah.
especially if
Yeah.
like, because we take on quite a lot of like big Instagram accounts and stuff. So I speak to people and I think I know them, they think they know me, and you've already broken down all of the barriers that really do exist with accountants.
Yeah.
There's stereotypes, assumptions, expectations that you're going to be told that you're wrong and shouted at, and like none of that's there anymore because, like you say, we're so put our true personality out there for people to see and consume the content, that it's really good. And I think even accountancy aside, there's so much more to our relationship and friendship and the things that, like, I remember nearly crying to you on like on Zoom once because someone had been horrible to me. Someone had left a really horrible Instagram comment on one of my things, and it was the first time it ever happened to me. And I remember saying to you, like, I just want to come off Instagram. I don't like it anymore. And it was those conversations that actually, like, we are in a unique position. There's not many accountants in exactly the same position as us, and like to be able to support each other as friends during that time has been like so valuable to me, like in terms of keeping you sane and being able to say like, they're just an idiot. It's quite nice.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And you know what, it's going to get even more crazy going forward, isn't it, with everything that's changing and everything else. And we're going to need these exactly what we're doing here, the going concern and all these sort of things, to have that outlet, because the world of accounts is changing and we're going to change with it, but we need to talk about it as we go along, because if you do it in a vacuum, it's just going to end up in tears, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and I think more than ever, there's some big personalities in the accounting space. Like we were having a conversation before we came on, like how many, there's the accountants of LinkedIn, there's the accountants of Instagram, there's the accountants of YouTube, and like there's some like different circles that people circulate in, and like everybody seems to know who everybody else is, but some people have never met or they've never spoken, or like it's just there's some drama, everybody.
Yeah, exactly right. And we'll bring you that drama here on the Going Concern each and every fortnight.
We've actually got a quite technical question, which is made for Aaron, considering the YouTube video that he released today. So there are VAT changes in the UK from today. Can you explain what they are?
Yeah, so basically, if you are looking to sell outside of our wonderful country, the UK, then suddenly everything's going to change, especially if you're looking to sell to Europe. So prior to now, VAT in Europe used to be relatively straightforward in terms of, well, for smaller companies, it was as long as you didn't have massive turnovers in individual countries, then and we're talking 35,000 in an individual country, all the way to 100 odd thousand in some countries, then you didn't have to worry too much about VAT. It was one of those things where you just send your goods over, they get an import duty, and it just used to come back. So all that was what it used to be, but now they're bringing in, and they call it IOSS, so International One-Stop Shop. And the idea there is that all European countries are now counted as one in terms of your VAT requirements, if you like. And the idea then is that if you're going to sell to a European country, then you've got to be really careful about how your VAT is going forward. So really simple way of looking at it is that basically, if you're going to sell to Europe, you're then going to have to worry about the fact that there will be VAT implications, because all of those thresholds have now gone. Technically, there's a £10,000 one, but we won't go into that. But the idea then is, if you're going to sell to Germany, then you've got to put German VAT on it. And if you're going to sell to France, then you've got to put France VAT on it. And if you're using marketplaces, and that's where a lot of our clients, and I'm sure quite a lot of Rachel's clients as well, and a lot of people listening, if you're going to be using marketplaces like eBay, Amazon, and all that sort of stuff, then they're going to be doing that complex bit for you, but you've just got to be aware of that, and you've got to be aware of there's a lot of red tape to be able to go through it. So yeah, it's a big change.
Clients kind of saying like, I'm actually just going to just sell to the UK until there's like better solutions, or like, because we've heard a couple of people that, and we're sort of trying to like engage conversations with those people. I just wondered if you've had the same.
Yeah, I completely understand where they're coming from. It's just that there's such a I mean, if they've been selling to Europe already and their business is doing really well, then it seems counterproductive to then turn around to say to them, just stop selling to Europe and keep going to the UK, because if they've got a demand, they've got a demand, and they want to keep pushing that demand. From a like extra compliance point of view, this whole international one-stop shop thing actually is really actually helpful, because yes, from a compliance point of view, you've got the headache of setting up to begin with. But the idea is, instead of having to do a VAT return in Germany and France and everywhere that you've sold all those different elements to, you just have to do one VAT return effectively for the whole of Europe. And then that VAT then gets passed to all the different states, and it goes from there. So actually, like, once you've got through that first initial headache of getting your head around it and understanding the new rules and regulations and everything that goes with it, we're finding that clients, that once it's clicked for them and they've gone, actually, you know what, this is going to be better for me, because I'm going to be able to go and be able to make, take advantage of this and really go for it and really push for it, and maybe expand a little bit more than they ever have done. So we're trying to keep our clients positive with it, because yes, you could kind of wait a while, but I don't think it's going to get any better before it gets any worse.
It's going to get easier, is it?
No. And it's really the push we've been trying to make is the push for Stripe and Shopify and all those online merchant stores that are designed to help small businesses. We want them to be taking the burden of this, because really it should be them that's going to be saying what VAT should be paid over, and then you should be reporting and complying by that. So I think the more we kind of push down those avenues, I think it's going to be better. And that's when, yes, it will get better over time. So let's hope that that's how it's going to be. And we're already working with QuickBooks and everyone else to try and make it so that data can be passed through from the e-commerce side to the accountant side to make things nice and compliant for you. So yeah, it will get there. We will find it better for everyone, I think. It's just awareness at the moment, like making sure that you know that the new rules, and this is only really applying if you're going to be selling goods. So yeah.
So where's the best place to go to? Like if we've got anyone watching that like is an independent Etsy retailer, like what resources are available? I know you guys launched a YouTube video today, right?
Yeah. So YouTube, but also Etsy themselves and eBay and Amazon, they've all been really, really good. Be a tiny bit careful. I found conflicting information from some of their webinars and everything else, but the main kind of gist of what they're trying to say is that they're helping and they're ready for it. So they've been preparing for a while. And just to give you kind of a background into how things will change from you will just sell it at whatever price you want to sell it. They will add the VAT on for you. So Etsy or eBay or whoever it's going to be, they will then collect that VAT, so you have no VAT to worry about. The only thing you've got to do is that when you send your goods over to EU electronically, you've got to give this particular number. So again, Etsy, eBay, Amazon, they'll all have solutions to do that. But the reason that number is so important is so that when it transfers from UK to EU, what you don't want to happen is that there's also an import duty added on. Can you imagine you're the person buying the item? If you've paid VAT up front and then you've also got an import duty demand coming through, you're going to be quite upset, and it's quite a bad experience for the buyer. So yeah, as long as you're following those rules, and again, eBay, Amazon, Etsy, they've got this already in place. As long as you follow their rules and understand why it's important, then basically you're going to be able to send goods over without having to worry about import duty. And I think that's a good thing, because as a buyer, nothing frustrates me more by getting that thing through the post saying please pay your import duty and how to put it from there. And that's the idea. They're trying to eliminate that. And for us as the business owners, we've just got to kind of run with those new rules, and hopefully then we'll be in a better position going forward. But yeah, keep an eye on videos. Again, we did a video today, but whatever platform you're selling from, they've all been putting some really good content out as well. So just keep an eye on that as well.
Amazing. What's the next question? Is this the last question, I think?
This is our last question. I can't believe we're already 40 minutes in. It flies by, doesn't it? No, dead straightforward question, this one. But again, I think it will be a meaty one. Could you both explain a little bit more about your business and their journey to here? Rachel, the floor is yours.
Yeah, of course. I would love to. I'm still a bit of a baby in the business world, I think. Not because I cry all the time, just because I've not been doing it very long.
Thanks for that clarification.
Sometimes it's confusing. So ACCOUNTANCY, sort of as an Instagram page launched right at the beginning of August 2020. So we've not been going a year yet. Like this time last year, the business was a one-man band with 50 clients, and now there was 7 of us working together this week with 288 clients at the last count. So we've scaled, we've multiplied the turnover by 5 within 9 months, and I have the joy, the pleasure, and the opportunity that my life partner is also my business partner. So James and I run the practice together, which is the most incredible experience I've ever had the opportunity to do. A lot of people comment on that point quite a lot, like that they couldn't do it, or that it's quite is it difficult? And for James and I, we met at work. We're both accountants, and we have a long history of working together as well. We've known each other 7 years. So for us, it just is brilliant. We're one of those really annoying couples that love spending all of our time together all the time and don't like being away from each other. So it's incredible to run the business with the person you love and build something that you love as well, that feels like family, is just incredible. I mentioned before that I'm doing an MBA as well. So as well as running the business, doing all of the fun YouTube stuff, I also, in my spare time, I'm currently studying an executive MBA. So today marks the last 6 months of a 2-year MBA course, which is incredible and has really, really leveraged the business to a really high level. And then there's the speaking side of things. Like Aaron has a very similar platform to me. We both do a lot of speaking events and really try and engage and educate business owners and also young accountants, people that are considering a career in the industry. It's amazing to have the opportunity to really like cheer them on. And we speak at careers fairs and all sorts of things. Like the TED Talk is coming out this month, so it's so many exciting things happening. But our business is still really new. We have big plans for growth and to continue growing it into something that is a bigger family. So that's my story. What's your story, Aaron?
So I'll always one thing that always gets me when I tell my story is that when I was in AAT, or I may have finished AAT in ICAW at some early point in my career, my first ever accounting job was a smallish family firm in Derby, and I'll always remember being kind of going into one of the accounts meetings, and I was going through some queries before a client turned up with the boss, and I was going through all this stuff, and I'll always remember him saying to me like, "Oh, these are sort of questions that when you're running your own practice, you probably you won't want to ask," or however he phrased it, I can't remember. And I always remember turning around and going, I'm never gonna go down that route. I don't want to own my own practice. I just want to climb the corporate ladder, that was always my goal, was like, let's just climb this corporate ladder, see how far it gets. But I went into, from a small accountancy firm, I went into a top 75, just like yourself. But we went very specialist. So we went into medical accounting. Well, I went into medical accounting.
Wow.
And as much as I loved that kind of specialism and like really focused on one industry and doctors and dentists and the wonderful world that it was coming from and everything else, I just felt like I was feeling a little bit like I was losing touch with the rest of the account, or what I grew my bread and butter. So I started my own little accounting firm. I asked HR, they were, I had to go through quite a bit of rigorous bit from it, but my whole remit was like, I just want to keep in touch. Like, I don't want to lose out of being there. So I created a little accounting firm, and that basically got me the opportunity then of being approached to come on board with this project with Boffix. And the idea was, Boffix was, we as a bigger firm, we were trying to build this new brand, and we were trying to create this like more in touch brand and everything else. But the more we built of it, it was more of a really glossy front page, but in the background, it was exactly the same as every other accounting firm out there. And I just wanted to do things differently, and I had ambitions to the way that data was moving from one system to another, and the way that clients were being dealt with and everything else. And I wanted to have a go at doing my own thing, and that's exactly where Boffix came from. And yeah, we've now got to the point where we've got staff members, and we're doing the opposite. So we had an office at the beginning, and we're looking to move away from the office now, and have a more hybrid working. But it's just been an amazing journey. And I think one of the things we've learned all the way through this is just, how much you can take that tried and tested formula, and if you've got an ambition and you want to try and change it, then have a go at it. Do it. Try and make it the way you are. Rachel said at the beginning of this how we're not in competition with one another because there are so many clients out there, and that is so true. And we're going to find clients that are suited for the way we want to work with them, whereas traditional accountants will still find clients that are going to work with them, and that's great. And as long as you're putting that right message out there, and you're communicating the same values, and you're trying to push the same things, and I think ultimately what you'll end up doing is you're going to find clients that are going to be mutually beneficial to both of you. So yeah, that's kind of where we are now and how we got to our journey. But I'm more excited about the next steps. I think we really are at that stage for us where we're thinking, right, what's next? Like, do we go down to a specialism? Do we look at other aspects, and how do we take advantage of certain breakthroughs that we've had, and all this, that, and the other? And it's just really, really, really exciting. So yeah, I'm so excited for this next bit, and you must be too. Like, for you, you've got some great opportunities coming up, haven't you? And I know you don't want to say more.
Our practice is a very similar size, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so.
You guys have definitely been around for longer than us.
Yeah. One thing that we did differently was that we didn't have that, or at the beginning we didn't have that explosive start. We were very much let's build these systems, because I was a little bit tepid about does my theory work sort of idea, and also we didn't market correct at the beginning. We made a lot of mistakes when it came to marketing at the beginning. So
we were the same. We were like, is this a good idea? And then like all of a sudden we were like, oh God, everyone thinks it is.
Exactly.
Which is great, and it gives such an opportunity, and like you say, like business isn't fixed, it's so fluid, and it changes every day. And I think one of the benefits of being a young, versatile, lean machine as a business is to be able to respond. And it's really interesting that you say that you don't have a specialism and that you've been thinking about it, because like in my mind, the online space with online retailers connecting into accounting software, like I always view that as your specialty. And like I ask you questions on like what do your clients think is the best third-party retailer to connect Etsy to QuickBooks or Amazon to QuickBooks and things like that. Like I've always viewed that as your specialty, because you, more than anyone else I know, have such knowledge and like passion as well. It's a cool part of the internet and accounting, and like that's always where I viewed your specialty. So
I think the difference is that we fell into that as again, my passion just got us those connections, and we kind of went in there, but we never marketed it, and we never have, and that's what we're learning now is, right, how do we, and that's the beauty of it, because that's also given us those conversations with clients of, look, we've learned these mistakes, and we've learned that you can't just throw money at Google and hope for the best. You've got to be savvy about it and clever about it, and it's great because we're not just saying, look, do it because we think it's great. We're saying do it because we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and
sold the t-shirt on Etsy.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, I think it's a really good time to be it. And for us, it's that walk the walk sort of mentality as well. And I think clients really appreciate that, and they see that you're doing the same hustle. And you've said it so many times, and you've put it so well in terms of like, people ask you, how do you get time to do all your Instagram posts and all this sort of the other, and you've honestly said, haven't you, it's like, well, 11 o'clock at night comes around and I finally get time to get around to do them, and the clients are doing exactly the same. So they see that you're doing the same hustle, they see the same thing. I think that resonates so well, doesn't it?
So what do you think we do differently
in terms of a traditional accountant, do you mean?
Yeah, as in like I think you are gravitating towards a specialty in the QuickBooks online like platforms like Amazon, Etsy, things like that. Like what?
Yeah. So I think from your point of view, I think your point of view, obviously your brand, so the accountancy is all about, or I assume is all about influencers and content creators and that amazing group of clients there. And I think that's a wonderful one. And I think for me, StriveX is that having that personal approach and having that way where you can have that FD model within a small business, but at an affordable rate, at something that people can, small businesses can and will pay for, instead of, some very, how do I say this without without upsetting people? But some prices in the marketplace can be a little off-putting to clients, put it that way.
And it's not price, it's value,
Yeah, exactly. It is value, and you've got to put it at that price point and that value point that's going to be beneficial to both you and the client. And I think that's exactly where it comes from, isn't it? Because you're giving that client the opportunity to grow and build, and as you said before, have that community side of things. So that's where I think you guys are different. I think that's where you bring that in. And I really like the fact that you've got those two brands as well, because I think that gives you diversity where in this day and age it's so important. We've seen it so much that it is there. So
amazing. I think that was the last question.
Was it really? I was going off and off and off. I can see I could talk about this sort of stuff hours upon hours upon hours.
But we won't.
Well, unfortunately. Well, we will next week for another hour. All right then, everyone. So thank you so much for your questions. Remember, if you're listening via the podcast, and I've heard the podcast is doing very well, so thank you very much for everyone listening, downloading, everything else that goes with it. Then don't forget to follow us on the social channels so you can join us live on one of our future episodes, just like Ashley has done. So thank you, Ashley. Thanks for coming along. And we've had some other ones as well. And some other comments as well. So thank you everybody who's been commenting on the live stream, but do get yourself into some of the future episodes. And that reminds me, Rachel, when are we back?
We are back on the 15th of July, so 2 weeks today. Please don't forget that you can submit your questions using the link, which is already in the chat, but we'll pop it in there again. You can use that form anytime. It doesn't expire. You can keep going back to it. So Aaron's Nana, you can submit more than one question at a time. Don't worry. We'll be here every fortnight to chat to you. So please do put your questions in. They keep us going, and it'll give Anna's Nana a break.
Fantastic. Rachel, what videos have you got planned for this week? Have you got anything exciting to tell us? Any look behind the curtain?
Yeah, we're actually recording a video tomorrow night. We're heading to a client launch party. So we've been able to really help her go from an idea all the way through to able to review her pitch deck and guide her through the angel and venture capital process. And tomorrow is the launch party. So we are taking the YouTube channel with us to her launch party, just to show that accountants do have fun. Today's video that came out was how to read and understand a set of accounts. Like so many business owners, some people come to us for the first time, they're brand new business owners. Other people have been with an accountant 6 or 7 years and then move to us, and they say, like, no one's ever actually explained to me what you're asking of me when you say, please, can you sign them off? Exactly. So it's a step-by-step, literally page-by-page review of a set of accounts. And if you want to see a set of accounts and you've never seen them before, it's also a really great opportunity to have a bit of a nosy and you can see what accounts we're looking at.
And it's a business very close to my heart as well. I've seen
Testy McTesterson Limited.
Yeah. I just need that company to do well. That's what it goes.
I'm going to incorporate it for your birthday, Aaron. Send you them.
And then for me, this week is all about trying to spruce up. Basically, if you've ever had any accountants before, you normally get this really boring little spreadsheet or checklist of get your accounts ready and prepared, ready to send into your accountant. So I'm trying to spruce that up, and I'm trying to give a step-by-step guide in how to prepare your accounts and get them ready for submitting to your accountant so they can go and do their wonderful work for you. So I'm going to spruce that one up. And I said it before and I'll say it again, we are still trying to get the day in the life of recorded and up and everything else. But
every day you have an opportunity to film that video.
I know. I've just got to get around to it. Got to get it done. So with that, Rachel, it is a goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Stay safe out there. See you in 2 weeks' time. And I'm stalling because I'm trying to find the outro. Bye for now.